This is a really interesting message that I feel like is coming through today. And also, I'm feeling very brave. Maybe that's a big part of the message right now, is bravery. Sitting outside here, kind of in public, making my video at my campsite. And so this has been such a really nice week of being here, and even just like listening to myself speak for some reason kind of sounds weird and different. I don't know, there's just something different about the energy right now. But maybe you guys felt this, like when I was in that house in Portugal, like that, or I'm still in Portugal, but when I was in that house, that moldy house, it was like, it was a very much a spiritual war. It felt like the spiritual war like really kind of started in Ireland, like when I was in Ireland, but then when I was leaving Ireland and trying to get on the plane, if you guys remember, like all the chaos of getting on the plane with Aslan and Arlo. Arlo is fine, but they're both in there, and Duchess is over there. We're all just so cozy here. But Aslan like not being allowed on the plane, like literally removing us off the plane, and just absolute chaos, and then like telling us that the flight would be, you know, we'd get on the next one, and then the next one would happen after I walked in circles for hours with the animals at the airport in the grass, and just still wasn't allowed on. And at that moment I could feel that there was something much deeper, and maybe you kind of went through something like that recently as well, where it was like the light that you're stepping into, the power that you're stepping into, the authenticity that you're stepping into, it's so profound that of course the service of self entities, they don't want that to happen. They do not want you to trigger that remembrance in the ripple effect of existence, right? And to do that grid work wherever you are and wherever you go, your light is going to be planting those seeds everywhere that you experience reality. And that is part of the unfolding of the new earth, I feel like. And so, of course, the beings that kind of thrive on enslavement and entrapment of others, they don't want you to know that you're free in the light, that you're free in the surrender, that you're free when you remember, when you step into that remembrance. And like, the thing is that we've been talking about remember the truth of who you are and get everything that you want. Like that's kind of been my header on YouTube since I started this channel in Switzerland 2.5 years ago. And it's just funny because like this has been a journey of really learning what that is, like especially, well, both parts actually, because that get everything that you want, or like get what you want. I don't know exactly how I worded it, but like that's what NŌVÉ is about. Oh, this is so cool that this is all coming together like this. Okay, I've been kind of like sitting with this idea, or like this thought about how NŌVÉ is so powerful. My app, which is live for Apple and Android, definitely recommend you go try it out and do the onboarding, talk about your chosen timeline. If you don't know everything that you want for your chosen timeline, just talk about what it feels like in each category and just get started, and you can continue to update the foundation as you're in it. It's so powerful. But part of me was like, in my own existence, in my own experience with the app and developing it, my vision for my chosen timeline has changed, especially like location, like I've been talking about in the last few videos, or like forever. Bear with me, guys. It's an exciting time of just like being in the unfolding. But then I had that breakthrough in therapy the other day, where it was really realizing what that attachment wound is and how it plays out in our reality. Like so much. Let me move the mic. It's like kind of putting fuzzies into the lens. I don't know if you could actually see it. Okay. But when we go through certain experiences when we're younger, and or at any point in our life where we feel unsafe or not provided for or not protected, our nervous system and our subconscious then starts creating this reality where it tries to keep us safe. So a lot of the times chronic illness is memorized symptoms, or symptoms from our nervous system that are designed to keep us away from the trigger, to keep us safe. For me, like going into moldy environments, I like reversed a lot of this with my brain retraining, but especially when it was really, really significant in California, I would like lose my sight. I would not really be able to see straight, not be able to think straight. Like my brain would just turn into like a blob. I would get swelling immediately, and this all started happening again when I was in this last house, but it took a few months to like really get to that point. And so the nervous system is sending those symptoms to say danger, danger, danger. But it doesn't just happen with chronic illness, right? The subconscious will also create realities where we're resisting the change, right? And so it's like, I've been talking with some founding members about this, where it's like technology won't really be working, or there'll be resistance like internally and emotionally, mentally, and this is all to keep us away from stepping into the chosen timeline. So the nervous system and subconscious will do this to keep us safe, right? And it started doing that from a young age because of whatever event that happened where we lost trust in the divine, lost trust in others, lost trust in ourselves, to keep us safe and provided for and protected, all these things. And that attachment wound, I realized like how it felt. It was the same feeling. I thought like, oh, there's so much work to do around all these different things, but really it was the same feeling from that one wound of that disconnect, of that distrust in source that was created when I was younger. But it felt like how it felt when I was trying to figure out where to live, when I was in conversations that were like about certain things that were like difficult for me, and I would start feeling that like I had felt it like in the past when I would date people that were like inconsistent or whatever, and like they would stop responding out of nowhere, and then that like that feeling in the nervous system, it was all the same, and it all came from this attachment wound, which was my nervous system looking for something to anchor in for safety, right? And so when we're operating from that place of disconnect with the divine, we are then seeking comfort to our nervous system, our subconscious, like soothing and safety in all these other places. And all these, like, it's a worthiness wound too. So like in any kind of other like instant gratification or validation or all these things, like it affects every single area of life, our work, our relationships, our love, our health, all this. And so it's really, I think, reassuring to talk about this, because maybe you don't actually have to do as much work as you thought. Maybe it is just about the deepest surrender and remembering the truth of who you are, surrendering and trusting the unfolding that the divine has for you, building the relationship that you have with source, and like knowing that when you do that, you will be taken out of these hardships and this confusion and everything, and it will bring you to exactly where you're meant to go. Like when I look back on everything that I've experienced, especially recently, like when I think about the farm in Italy and how I manifested that, I started getting visions of horses at that New Year's Eve, when I was in Switzerland, and I made the vision board of like a bunch of horses randomly, and I was always kind of like dreaming of getting involved with animal rescue and all of that. And then when I got there, it was like even better than I could have ever imagined in a lot of ways. There was a lot of challenges too, but like I couldn't have predicted that or like found that on my own. Like maybe I could have, but it arrived to me, right? I was in Portugal actually. I had just got the van, and I saw a notification pop up on my phone from Facebook of volunteering at this, like, and they just were getting started with taking on volunteers at this beautiful sanctuary in Italy, and like you can go horseback riding and like use the car, do whatever you want. Like I was like, this seems too good to be true. And I when I was driving there, I was like, wait, what am I going to? Like, is this a trap? Like I was about to turn around because I literally thought that they were gonna murder me. But we were fine. It just seemed too good to be true. And that was the unfolding. Like, and at that time I was like so like la 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 because the van was driving, and I was really just like going wherever the wind blew. And that is surrender. And of course I was learning the other lessons at that time, but I think that that's what's coming through right now is like there might be this like pressure to figure out what you're supposed to do next, or where you're supposed to go, or like how you're supposed to design your life, especially if you're trying to figure out how to make your chosen timeline in NŌVÉ, which has like been my experience. You don't have to know it all. Like, you can just talk about what it feels like. Like in Ireland, when I made my dream life sleep hypnosis, I wasn't exactly sure where the house would be in my, again, like the location, but I started talking about like what it felt like. I forgot to put that it's non-toxic and healthy and everything, but I said that it was going to be by the beach and around cafes that I really like and close to like-minded people and all this stuff. And it's exactly what this house ended up being here in Portugal. But you got to get even more specific over time, which is what I've learned with manifestations. So now it's like, it's not even really about the beach. Like, I'm sitting with it still. I have a really powerful vision that is coming through, and I'm the way that I'm working through it, of trying to understand if this is the thing or not, is I'm just sitting with it. If it's a dysregulation or like something that comes through the wound, like these ideas and these identities that come through the wound and tell us who we are and what we want, they'll often be fleeting. And so if you have an idea about what you want in your life, just sit with it for a little bit. And if it still has that like, yes, this is meant for me after some time, then it's probably meant for you. If you do some like nervous system regulation, breath work and all that, and it's still like, yes, this is for me, then I think it's for you for sure. And that's from a place of truth rather than a place of like seeking soothing to the wound, right? Like for me in California, this idea of buying a one-way ticket to Europe, it never went away. It like obsessively was there every single day. Like some days I wasn't as focused on it, but it never went away. And that's how you know if something is really meant for you. So, surrender right now is so much about surrender. And then in the surrender, like surrender can only happen if you fully trust the divine, right? If you're surrendering to the divine, if you're surrendering to God, whatever you want to call it, source, that has to come from a place of trust. And really that has to come from a place of like forgiveness. And there's no such thing as forgiveness when we actually look at forgiveness, because there's nothing to forgive, because we're all one. We're all one infinite consciousness. And that is the remembering. That is remembering the truth of who you are. And in the remembering of the truth of who you are, you can forgive and you can trust and you can surrender. And then the clarity comes through so obviously. And then, like we talk about all the time on here, in order to quantum leap, we have to have our mind and our soul come into agreement about the thing that we are choosing. The soul is like the heart space, right? And so that comes from the remembering, that comes from connecting with God. And when it's really meant for you on a soul level and you choose it with your mind has to choose, you will arrive there so much quicker than all those other timelines that you were trying to choose that actually were never meant for you. They were someone else's door, right? And so it'll happen so quickly when you surrender, get clear, and then choose. And if you're not sure still, because you're like still learning to trust your mind and everything, visualize the chosen timeline, the thing that you're thinking of choosing, the home, the location, whatever. If it was taken away from you, if it was no longer available, would you feel relieved? Or would you be like, wait, like if I was in California still and someone told me like there's no more flights ever again to Europe, I would be like, no, I have to swim, get a boat. So remember the truth of who you are and get everything that you want. It's all starting to make sense now, which is also interesting because some of you have said like it kind of feels like the end of a cycle here if you've been kind of watching the unfolding of my journey. And I feel that too. I feel like Europe so far has been this hero's journey of like dark nights of the soul, Saturn return, like all this stuff, right? Spiritual war, learning the truth, remembering the truth of who I am, and learning the truth of manifestation and the truth of stepping into your chosen timeline. And now I'm like here in this like la la land, like the way that I was saying that my voice kind of sounds weird right now, it feels like I'm like on the moon. Like it feels like this really interesting liminal space of like a full surrender, because I'm still like not quite sure on the next thing, and I've been guided to accept that I won't know. Like that Facebook post of the of the farm in Italy. Like I could not have known that was coming, and could not have known that that was going to be such a significant part of my human experience of rescuing those horses with you guys, like meeting Ladybug, finding my heart horse, finding breeding and having Aslan come into the world, Duchess coming into my life. All of that happened from this little surprise Facebook post, right? Because I was in the surrender, because I was in the flow, because I was trusting myself to buy the ticket to Italy, to sell everything, to let go, to get the van, to just go wherever, right? It's all making sense. But yeah, being on the moon right now, I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't know, but I also don't feel that like feeling anymore, which is like, I think that is the most beautiful, safe feeling that there is that full trust. And also the really nice part about this, and one of the most powerful things that you can feel or experience energetically, is anticipation. So, and even if you don't know, anticipating that it is going to be even better than you could have ever imagined is where the magic is, and it sets the tone and the direction of going to a timeline that's even better than your wildest dreams, right? So I feel that right now. I feel this strong anticipation. I feel this like peace and this joy, like being here with my animals, being in the tent. I really enjoy the tent. I'm like, this is just so sweet. Like never, I don't know, but like probably never again in my life will there be a time like this where it's just me and my animals in a tent in a foreign land. My children in the ethers, wherever they are, they were coming through, and my battery's about to die. They were coming through in a walking meditation the other day that was just like kind of happening. Like these downloads have been happening a lot while I'm walking. And it's so funny because then a channeled message came up from somebody, and I've never seen a channeled message like this at all, but she had said like, your children are coming through kind of thing. And the location of where my home is was also in that download. And so I was kind of like, oh, this is confirmation that like, I think this is where I'm headed next. And also I think that like my Mr. Man is maybe near at some point, and our children, which it's an exciting time, and I can't wait to take you guys on that journey whenever it unfolds. So I anticipate powerful things for us. If you want to join NŌVÉ, it is live, Apple and Android. It is linked in the description for the best yearly price if you use the link, or you can sign up in the App Store or Google Play, but it's a slightly different price, but however you sign up, there's always a free trial. So if you want to support this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new here, leave a comment if you feel called to do so. If you don't know what to say, go ahead and put a wolf emoji. We love wolves. Or you can say long live Ladybug if you know what that means, or if you just want to say it. It's good energy, very, very, very good energy. And I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next video. Bye.